Well, Kethevane Gorjestani is covering this story live for us from Washington. She joins me now for more on that. Kethevane, first of all, tell us a bit more about those final rallies last night from Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Well, Donald Trump had asked us to stay tuned for his speech in Ohio, teasing a potential presidential run launch. And in the end, he did not make that big announcement. He said that he would be making a big announcement on November 15th in Mar-a-Lago. So we can expect potentially the former president to officially announce he's running again for 2024 in about a week's time. So that was the big announcement that we were waiting for. Instead, the president focused his speech on the same attacks that he's done in the past against Joe Biden, against the Democrats, and railing against the media. So this was a speech that we had heard multiple times in the past. And Joe Biden, in his closing arguments, also had a very similar speech to the one we've heard in recent days, recent weeks. This warning about democracy being on the line, warning against those election deniers, and a call to Democrats and other American voters to actually come out and cast their ballot. Joe Biden, who returned to the White House, will be here in Washington, D.C. as those results will be coming in. And he struck an optimistic tone last night when he returned to the White House. He was asked whether or not the Democrats could actually win the House. On that, he said, yes, we can still do it. He said that it would be tough. He said, I think we'll win the Senate, but he definitely did acknowledge that keeping the House will be a much tougher task for the Democrats. And so the two leaders of the two parties are now going to be watching those results, and we're going to have to wait quite a bit of time to figure out which party is actually going to take control of the House and the Senate.
Kethevane, there are a lot of different races happening across America today. The main focus, of course, is who will control the House and the Senate. But what else should we be looking out for as the results start to come in?
Well, according to the polls, Republicans are on track to win at least the House. One question there is how big that victory will be. Donald Trump teased a red wave. That's what Republicans are claiming they're going to get. It's unclear whether that is actually going to happen. And if they only win by a small margin, that will be not a very good sign for the Republicans, because given the situation, given that the Democrats are in control right now, they should traditionally be losing big. So we'll have to watch out about that. Then there will be the question of election deniers. There are, as President Joe Biden has said multiple times, election deniers up and down ballots across the country, from governor candidates to senators to representatives, but also further down ballot, like secretaries of state in states that could very well decide the 2024 elections. These are people that will be managing elections going forward. And so that will be very interesting to see how far those election deniers will be able to cast their net, if you will. Another thing to look at is Donald Trump. How much sway does he still have over Republicans? Was he an asset, or was he a liability, especially in those key Senate races? For example, where he endorsed the Republican candidate and he helped those candidates win the primary, but made them a little bit more liable in the general election. So we'll see what his record will be like. And one final note for this election day: patience, patience, patience. We will likely not know the results tonight. Probably it will take some few days, maybe even more. That will depend on how close some of these races are. It will depend on how fast those ballots are counted. And of course, if things happen like in 2020, it will potentially go down to Georgia, where there is a possible runoff. If no candidate meets the 50% plus one, there will be a runoff, and that will be December 6th. So we're in for the long haul.
All right, Kethevane, thanks so much for that. And thanks for staying on top of it for us there in Washington. Kethevane Gorjestani.